Michigan hosting number 21 Indiana. And on the ice, it's the Blackhawks and the Pens on NBCSN. I'm Jeff Biggs, NBC Sports Radio, and the NBC Sports Scores app.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us if you want Viagra at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-357-1583 today to save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-357-1583 to take your call now. Call 800-357-1583. That's 800-357-1583. Again, 800-357-1583.
How would you feel if you had to make a choice between buying food or spending your fixed income on life-saving medicine? No one should make that trade-off, but many low-income seniors are forced into difficult decisions like this every day. Smiles for Seniors Foundation provides energy assistance and safety net services to struggling low-income seniors in the Inland Empire. They provide one-time assistance to seniors to meet specific financial needs. They've helped with food, housing, utility payments, minor home and auto repairs, along with life-saving prescriptions or medical equipment. A nonprofit foundation funded entirely by donations from local organizations. Smiles for Seniors receives no funding from the state or federal government. They are funded by local businesses and individuals like you with big hearts and willing wallets. You can find more information or to donate to Smile for Seniors at 909-790-6671. That's 909-790-6671, or visit smilesforseniorsfoundation.org. That's smilesforseniorsfoundation.org.
Hi folks, if you're still paying for electricity every month, it means you haven't signed up for the Inland Empire's #1 money savings program offered by Horizon Solar Power. Just call to qualify your home and Horizon will give you $100 plus pay your electric bill until 2020. It's that simple. Call, qualify, get $100 and no electric bill payments until 2020. So keep your money in your pocket and become energy independent today. Call 844-711-6996. That's 844-711-6996. Or click on one of our Stay Cool ads at KCAAradio.com.
Rent-A-Center is lowering prices like way down. Now for $19.99 per week, you can get an Xbox One or PS4. And what better way to enjoy those consoles than on an Altoro Dune sofa with a reversible chase? Again, for $19.99 per week. $19.99. Rent-A-Center has a worry-free guarantee, free same-day delivery, and competitor price matching. Rent-A-Center, located in the Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands, where the 10 and the 210 meet between the Alabama and Tennessee exits. Rent-A-Center, $19.99 per week. Sale price is valid until October 28th.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wake Up Awareness. This is Reverend Irma Forward, and guess what? Jean is back with us this morning, and I'm so excited about that. Jean is a religious science practitioner who instantly and always knows the truth of who and what you are. For who you are a child of a fantastic universe, and what you are, simply put, is God expressing on a level of your magnificence. And so we're thankful for that. We're thankful for having Manny with us this morning to support us on this broadcast journey with you. And Happy New Year to everyone. And I know you had splendid holidays, Jean, and you had a splendid New Year coming in.
Indeed.
Indeed. Okay, wonderful. And we want to welcome all of you to your magnificence in this year of 2019. You know, what happens is we want to awaken you to your inner splendor, to your inner magnificence, and let it manifest itself out into your real world, what we call the real world. And so we want you to just kind of be with us today as we start you on this wonderful journey. This program is presented to you by the Center for Spiritual Enrichment in honor of Reverend Sue Constantinidis, founder of the Center for Spiritual Enrichment. And we honor her as she has moved on to another dimension of life at this point in time, but we honor her and know that she knew who she was. Absolutely, and there was no question about that. Is that right, G?
That is correct.
No question about that. And so she knew that she was a magnificent spiritual being, and she wanted to impart that truth to others as well. And so this is what we accept. We don't have any particular announcements except that we would encourage you to find a spiritual center with New Thought philosophy and find yourself in those centers sometimes on Sunday mornings, or perhaps some of them have services on Wednesday evenings that you can participate in, and that would be so great and wonderful. And we will be talking about classes that we will be offering pretty soon through this venue. The Center for Spiritual Enrichment. So we'll let you know about that soon within the coming weeks. And I think that that'll be it in terms of what we have to say to you. So I invite you to be still with me for a moment as we anchor ourselves into this program this morning and just simply be at one with the divine presence that we know and call God. So be still for a moment. Our opening treatment this morning is something that one of the ministers of the Centers for Spiritual Living posted, and I will pass that on to you this morning. This is by Reverend Frankie Timmers. And so we find that on this new day that the law has made, this new day that God has made, that I am filled with awe. The awe of the realm of infinite possibilities right before me. This awe takes me deep into life's mystery, where I arrive at knowing only one thing. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And this life is my life right now. This one thing is our true home. It is the place that we return to whenever we feel scared, lost, forgetful, or feel separated from the divine presence. And this place patiently and faithfully awaits our arrival. I know that I have no control over most things that happen, but we do get to have crystal clarity about how we stand in it. We choose to stand in our true home of truth with grace, love, trust, and joy, no matter what. And so now it's our decision for this new year at this beginning called 219. Knowing that truth has no timetable, we let go of any notions except the eternal now. This most juicy, pregnant, filled with everything good moment now. This now that we experience as the breath of God in and through us. We feel deeply blessed, grateful, and fulfilled. We know it. All is well, always and in always. And so it perfectly is. And that is presented to us by Reverend Frankie Timmers. And because it's the new year, I would like to share this with you as well. And suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings. And that comes from Meister Eckhart, 15th century philosopher. And now we'll have some inspirational music to help us set the tone for our lesson today, which is Awakening to Life. And our inspiration this morning is by India Ari, I Am Light.
family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 Yeah. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. All light. Yeah. All light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Yeah. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
We thank India for that. It's such a lovely song to realize that we actually are the light. And we want to wake up, if we haven't already awakened up, to express the light that is within us. In other words, we want to waken you up to your spiritual and total awareness of who you are in the grand scheme of things. And so, Jean, do you think that 2019 would be the year that we could awaken, truly awaken to the beauty of life that is within us?
I think it is the year.
You do? You think
I
this
do.
is the year? Okay. Okay, so let's talk about that. We'll talk about that because this is the year that Spirit intends for us to live. What would it be like if we were fully awake and present for it all? Fully present to the life that we now have. And I do mean fully present to the life, not just kind of existing and floating through and not really observing things, but fully present to who we are in every moment and fully present and available to the life that we are creating. What might that awakened life look like? So each week this month, we will explore these questions while we reground ourselves in our fundamental New Thought teachings. This month will be a rich and deep experience for all, for everyone steeped in our beliefs and for those who are new to them. So we invite you to set the stage for your new year by being with us each week as we explore the idea of awakening to life. And that's our topic for this month, awakening to life. And today, we're going to look at the 4 kingdoms of awakening. So as we walk the spiritual journey of awakening to the truth of who we are and the beauty of life, we often experience the journey in what we call stages. And I'm going to suggest that we're going to call those kingdoms this morning. So today we're going to look at 4 kingdoms of awakening and see how to awaken to the inner realms of the kingdom. The work we do today will support the rest of the month, so be sure to be with us in the following weeks. Now, my friend Jean here has an invitation for each one of you. So, Jean, what would that be?
So today I have an invitation for you, for each and every one of you, and I want you to consider it your personal invitation. Imagine right now that I'm handing you a beautiful eggshell-colored linen envelope with your name elegantly calligraphied on it. When you open it, you find an invitation inside engraved in gold that says, "You are cordially invited to let 2019 be the year that you awaken, truly awaken, to the beauty of life and wonder that Spirit intends for you."
Wow. You're inviting us to that?
I am.
Okay, well, let's see. What would 2019 be like if you RSVP'd yes to that invitation? What would 2019 be like if you were fully awake and present for it all? Meaning, fully awake and present to the life that you now have, fully awake and present to who you are in every circumstance and in every moment, fully awake and present to what brings you joy here and now, and fully awake and present to the life that you are creating with every thought that you think, with every feeling that you feel, and with every word that you speak. Now, what would that awakened life look like? Well, my friends, that is your invitation for 2019. That is the invitation that Jean has extended to us. And each week, this first month of the year, we're going to dig into that invitation while exploring some fundamental New Thought principles at the same time to honor the tradition of our teachings in religious science of getting back to the basics. And we do that each January. Today, we are going to look at 4 stages of spiritual consciousness that we might experience as we have RSVP'd yes to this invitation of awakening. These stages of spiritual consciousness have been called kingdoms, and this definition of kingdom fits perfectly in our context of this morning. It is a realm or region in which something is dominant. So this morning, we're going to look at 4 realms or regions in which a particular level of awakening is dominant. So now, are you ready for this? So we're going to step into this. This is exciting today. Now, I'm going to let you know right up front that I didn't make these up. This is not an original Reverend Irma thing. They were originated with Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith at the Agape Center. Agape International Spiritual Center of Truth many years ago, and are now taught throughout New Thought movements worldwide. So secondly, as we talk about them, just observe where you hang out in consciousness. Now, I said to notice, not blame yourself, don't beat yourself up or feel not good enough because of where you observe yourself to be. Just notice that that's where you are. And likewise, not puffed up with ego or spiritual pride either. And again, I invite you to just simply notice. Just observe where you're hanging out in these kingdoms. And third, these may not be new to you. You have heard me speak of them before, I'm certain. But if you are familiar with them, this is not the time for a nap. I don't want you to be bored. I invite you to have a fresh eye and ears this morning. Find out what is in here for you that you have not seen or gotten before. Now, if you're ready to go, Gina, you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay, so here we go. The first stage is the why me or the mortal stage. The first stage of spiritual consciousness or kingdom of awakening is more asleep than it is awake. And we have all been there and done that. It reminds us to be more self-compassionate. It is called the why me stage, or we could also call it the mortal stage or the kingdom. At this stage, life is a real struggle. We feel separate, we feel disconnected, we feel alone, we frequently feel powerless, we frequently feel that we are a victim of circumstances, and we think we have absolutely no control over what is happening in our lives. At this stage, we think that something outside of us is doing something to us. It could be the God outside of us, the devil, so to speak, or the enemy, so to speak. It could be our numerical chart. It could be the cracks in the pavement. It could be our parents, our partners, the weather, the government, you name it. But we all feel sometimes that there's something outside of us that's doing something to us. Now, Jean, here is something that you can recall that may have left you feeling less than. Is there something that you can recall where you felt less than?
Oh, it happens quite a bit.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, because sometimes, the negative sneaks in. And you think that maybe you're not doing everything you can be doing.
Okay.
Maybe you have some error thinking.
Okay.
And that happens a lot because to that, we're humans.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, that human part of us gets in the way of that divine thinking.
Yes, it does. Yes,
Yep.
it does. Because it doesn't seem to want, the human part of us doesn't always want to realize that we are divine beings, that we are exceptional beings. Now, there's a perfect way to know if we are stuck or that we're in this stage. And it's accompanied by quite a lot of noise and drama and complaining, and the back of your hand is frequently Velcroed to your forehead as you say these words. Why does this always happen to me? And I have to say I had that experience just a few weeks ago when someone decided that they wanted to take some things from my automobile. And my car was locked, but they just decided to help themselves anyway. So the point is, I'm saying, why is this happening to me? And what I'm also had to come to realize is that I exist on a human plane of experience, and so these things may happen to me. And so we want to be able to live in that divine space of awareness all the time. And so until we get to that point, certain things still happen to us, and we want to realize that sometimes we also say, why is this happening to me again? And then these words have a cousin to them. If only she or he would not do this to me, I would be happy. I would be at peace. I would be wonderful. I would be okay. And we go on and on. Do you recognize any of this out there? Do you recognize any of
yeah.
that? All right. Now, the opportunity to awakening that we have at this stage or kingdom is huge. It is the opportunity to give up blame and to take responsibility, personal responsibility for our own lives. We have the opportunity to awaken to the truth that we are not victims of circumstance, that we're not victims of fate, we're not victims of anybody else, we're not victims of the economy, we're not a victim of the weather or the political climate. Although the naysayers of today's political climate would say and encourage us to be victims. But I say to you that we're not victims of anything that we don't want to be a victim to. So as adherents of the New Thought philosophies, we have the opportunity to awaken to the truth that we are powerful beyond measure, and that we are empowered beings, that we are endowed with the very nature of that which created us, which is the ability to create. And that moves us to the second stage of spiritual consciousness or kingdom of awakening, which is the by me or the metaphysical stage. Now, in this stage, we learn that we actually are not victims of circumstance. We begin to understand that we are part of something bigger than we are, that we are a part of something bigger, and that there is a law or a precise and specific way this something bigger than we are works, and we can work in harmony with it. Now, Jean, what does Ernest Holmes say in the textbook about this something bigger than we are?
Well, Ernest Holmes writes in the Science of Mind textbook on page 38, we are thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers of life. We are surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us a creative something. The sum total of all our thought, will, purpose, and belief creates a tendency in this law that causes it to react to us according to the sum total of that belief. Ignorance of the law excuses no one from its effects. If then certain specific ways of thought and belief have produced limitations, other beliefs will change them.
Okay, all right. Holmes was right on it there.
Pretty
And what I
simple.
would like to say here, too, is that the law is very impersonal. It's very impersonal. And that's evident by our climate today, which is kind of rainy. We have rainy weather. And it rains on what? The just and the unjust. It's impersonal. When it's going to rain, it decides to rain. And we do need the rain, by the way. So I was excited to see that. But we learn at this stage of awareness, and we learn that things don't just happen to us, they happen according to what's in our belief system. We learn that we can change our thinking and change our lives. In this stage, we learn that we are creative beings. So Charles Fillmore of the Unity tradition tells us that so many people pray and pray and pray. They don't get action. Our bodies need to be acted upon. It's not altogether praying, but it is doing. You must do something. In other words, we have a saying that we want to do our affirmative prayer work, and then we want to do what? Move our feet. So the saying is to do a spiritual mind treatment and move your feet. Now, this is a very, very empowering place to be, and it is a place we all need to awaken to in order to experience the beauty of life that Spirit intends for us to live. Now, this is also the stage where we learn amazing tools like affirming and visualizing and vision boards and spiritual mind treatment. We learn that if we can see it with our mind's eye and feel that it is done, then we can create it. And my friends, we can. New Thought has done a very wonderful job of teaching this, and it is an important step in our spiritual evolution. If you have not yet mastered this stage or feel you are rusty, is 2019 the year to awaken to this? I want to share with you the testimony of a gentleman who found these New Thoughts teachings one day when he was in the pits of despair. And his testimonial goes something like this. Like many who first wander into this religious science center, he felt that at the ripe old age of 50, he had failed at life in general. He was broke. He was overweight. He was smoking, drinking, overeating, and obviously very much alone. Now, what he was doing was not working, and he was searching. It was only a few weeks after committing to a new path that Spirit walked him into a religious science center. Then came the miracles. Within weeks, he had stopped smoking. Later, for the desire of overeating and alcohol just kind of drifted away, and the weight began to melt off. But these are only the exterior manifestations. The biggest miracles happen on the inside. His journey with his spiritual center began. Now, previously, church used to frighten him, but he began taking classes at this church, and he began to see himself not as a broken individual, but as a vibrant spirit that was shackled with self-defeating beliefs. Each class busted a limiting belief and replaced it with one that expressed his gift to life. Not only did his optimism return, he also had results. He went from believing that he was not good enough to believing that since he exists, that spirit had a purpose for him. He went from being unhealthy to being vibrant. He went from being broke to being comfortable with retirement savings, cash in the emergency fund, and guess what? No credit card debt. I emphasize that because that's where most of us would like to be. But most of all, he was able to break through the prison of self-loathing to become a loving and generous person. His world became beautiful. It was exciting and full of loving relationships. And he is no longer alone. So this stage or kingdom is critically important, but it isn't the final stage of our evolution in consciousness. There is an opportunity for greater awakening here also. We might say that in this stage of consciousness, we make things happen. And in the next stage of awareness, we make things welcome to us. And so with that being said, we move on to the third stage of spiritual consciousness. And what that says is through me, or the mystical consciousness. Now, in this third stage, we begin to release control and release it with the sense of a personal relationship with something much more powerful than we are. At this stage, we begin to realize that we are spiritual beings having what is called a human experience. It is called the through me or the mystic stage. Now, before you freak out thinking that a mystic is the robed guru who sits cross-legged atop a mountain and ohms all day, not so. Ernest Holmes said it succinctly. The mystic is one who senses the divine presence. The mystic feels God's presence, perhaps not all the time, but certainly has extreme moments of feeling it. The through me or mystical stage of our evolution of consciousness is a place where we surrender more and more to the divine, where we desire to simply be an open vessel for God. It is the mystic who sings, "Use me, O God. I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do." We find that we're not so attached to a particular outcome. Yet, in this relaxed receptivity, we are more available to our greatest good. In this stage of evolution, we bring in some other spiritual tools, those of visioning, being present in the moment. We bring in the idea of forgiveness. At this stage, our prayers take on a different focus. So rather than for the purpose of manifesting something, there are more prayers of willingness and openness. In fact, at page 268 of the textbook, Ernest Holmes writes, Jean, would you read what he writes there?
True prayer must be, thy will be done. But the implication relative to the will of God in this prayer is not a submission to the inevitability of evil or limitation. It is a knowledge that the will of God is always good.
Wonderful. The will of God is always good. So while at this stage of the mystic level, it becomes very, very powerful. And there is yet another, and that is the as me or master kingdom. The Christ, the Buddha, combination of metaphysician and the mystic, Jesus, our primary example, being the master teacher, an absolute union with the divine. There was no sense of separation, and there is no division, and Jesus understood this carefully. Joel Goldsmith, another New Thought writer, states this. He says, "Do not pray to God for things. Pray to know God, and all the things will simply appear." Jesus, the great wayshower, tells us in Matthew, the 6th chapter and the 33rd verse of the King James Version of the Bible, "But seek ye first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you." So when a master sees lack, he or she knows it's just a place for calling forth more of God in expression. It's just an opportunity to experience more of God. And this is how Jesus could turn water into wine, feed the thousands, heal the sick, and raise the dead. When he was faced with lack or limitation, he saw an opportunity to experience more of God. Now, Holmes' final words in the final conclusion of The Science of Mind are these. The essence of spiritual mind healing and of all true religious philosophy is an inner realization of the presence of perfection within and around about. It is the hope of heaven, the voice of God proclaiming, "I am that which thou art. Thou art that which I am." And that is the as me, or the master stage of spiritual development, spiritual consciousness. I am that which thou art that which I am. And that which God is and that which I am is love and only love. So in conclusion and in summary, I would like to say that during our lifetimes, we will spend time in all of these kingdoms, and it isn't a linear process. We go back and forth, switching metaphorical residences depending on the issue or the situation at hand. Remember the invitation that you received from Jean a little while ago? What did it say? It said, "You are cordially invited to let 2019 be the year that you awaken, truly awaken to the beauty of life that Spirit intends for you to live." What are you going to awaken to this morning? To the realization that if you are hanging out in the why me or the mortal stage, that you have an opportunity to embody the truth that you are a very powerful and empowered being, endowed with the very nature of that which created you. The ability to create. Are you ready to master manifesting? Or is it the realization that while the by me or metaphysical kingdom is absolutely vitally necessary, it isn't the end, and that you can awaken to something even more powerful? The truth that you don't have to make things happen, but that you can make them welcome by giving up control to something greater than you are in your finite humanness. So that you become the mystic where you allow God to consciously work through you. It is not my will, but thine, as the master teacher said, knowing that God's will is always for the highest and the best good. Or in 2019, are you ready to cultivate as me consciousness, or step into the kingdom of the master where there is no sense of separation and there is only love? Wherever you are ready to go, this show, Wake Up Awareness, and the Center for Spiritual Enrichment are here ready to serve, support, uplift, and empower you. And so in this moment, let us step into that awareness And Enya has a song for us, and that song is called How Can I Keep From Singing? How can we keep from singing when we have stepped through these 4 stages of spiritual consciousness and spiritual evolution?
My life goes on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real though far off hymn, the tales a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear its music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest loudly roars? I hear the truth it liveth, and though the darkness round me close, songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging, since love is Lord of heaven and earth. How can I keep from When tyrants tremble in their fear and hear their dead knell ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? In prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from
We thank Enya for that beautiful rendition of How Can I Keep From Singing. Such a soothing and comforting song, and letting us know that we're always connected to the divine and that there's this singing in our heart that goes on, and it's just a wonderful feeling. Jean, I think we have a few prayer requests this morning. If you could take care of those.
We do. Please join me as we know the source of our good is that of God, and that everything that flows from God flows to us, through us, and is us. This morning, as I speak my word for the people we have on our list, I know that all is right for them now. Good health, well-being, prosperity, travel along their journey. Everything that's needed is theirs now. And for these people, I declare it is so. Mm-hmm. For Pam, Molly, Mark, and as Reverend Levon has transcended this earthly plane, we support her husband, Dr. Don Welsh, and family in affirmative prayer, in addition to all in her spiritual community. And for the victims of the fires in Northern and Southern California, and for Oscar too, and for the stability of this planet, we know that all that's needed is here now for everyone, that divine action and right action is theirs. And I know this to be the spiritual truth of perfection for each one that we spoke our word for. And for this, I say thank you, God. And I release these words. And so it is.
And so it perfectly is. And we just simply give thanks for having known Reverend Levon. She was a light, just a very energetic, light, wonderful person, and had been in ministry for quite a while, and shared her understanding, shared her knowledge, her wisdom, coming from many, many traditions. So we give thanks for having known her in this experience of life, for it has been good and very good. Our affirmation this week is this: all is well in my world, life loves me, and I am safe. Jean, what does that speak to you? What does that say to you? All is well in my world, life loves me, and I am safe.
I think for me, it means to go forward boldly.
Okay.
Be brave.
All right. Be brave in your life.
Yep.
All right. We can do that. We can do that.
Indeed.
So let's say this again so that everybody hears it. You see, when we embrace these four kingdoms and know that we talked about this morning, we can find that all will be well in our world, and that when we get to that mystical understanding where we could feel our connection, totally connected to the divine, then that's when we know absolutely that all is well in my world, life loves me, and I am safe. And let's say that again. All is well in my world. Life loves me, and I am safe. And so it is. We have one other bit of musical inspiration, as we said as we closed our message this morning, that there's only love. And so we're asking Michael Gott to give us a musical rendition of There Is Only Love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, When I go inside and quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
We thank Michael God for that wonderful solo. There is only love. And we give thanks for that. Jean Kennedy, religious science practitioner, will give us our closing prayer this morning. And following the prayer, we will be off the air. But what I'd like for you to know is that we want to encourage you to come back and be with us next week for the second part in our series on Awaken Up to Your Life in 2019.
And also, we'd like to remind everybody of our Facebook page, Wake Up Awareness. Please come and join us there. There are things that I think people are really enjoying and meaningful. And please leave us any prayer requests that you have, because we do pray for 30 days on your requests. We have a whole army of prayer partners.
We do. Go ahead.
So, please join me now. We recognize the source of our good is God. Everything that flows from that divine source, we are one with that God source. We know and accept, as we go about our daily life this week, it is with divine guidance and love. We carry with us this week the lesson that we shared today in all of our dealings and experience. We will shine our light brightly and demonstrate the beauty and perfection of being a child of God in the world that surrounds us. We release all negativity, angst, or false beliefs that we may have right now. We are open and receptive. We are fully present for this life in 2019. We are awake to the divine possibilities within each one of us. We know that our leaders are divinely guided to do right for us, for our country, and for our world. We know and accept that love runs through all, and that we are one with the love and life of God. And for all of these wonderful things that are happening, and for 2019, we accept all the good, because we know and accept that there is only love. And that love heals, and that love also sets us free. And for all of this, I say thank you, God. And I release these words knowing that it's done, and so it is here and now. It is done.
It is so.
Amen.
Oh, and so it perfectly is. And thank you, Jean, for that wonderful prayer. Okay. So we just simply give thanks, and we know that as we step out into this week and into our daily dealings, as Jean indicated in the prayer work, that we will do so knowing that we are guided, that we are guarded by all that is divine, and that all is love. And so with this in mind, once again, we give thanks for your listening to us, and we will look for you next week. Thank you, and so it is. Did he turn the camera off?